Hello. Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? Are we well on this Tuesday evening? Or Wednesday morning? Depending on where you are. Hello! Hello! Miss has a knife at the ready, which is fair. How are we? How is the Chib? How is the Miss? How is the... You know what, my brain knew that there was a way of ending that with a Beatles reference, but then it forgot that it doesn't know anything about the Beatles. It just knows that there is a reference that would work there. Oh, thanks, brain. You're right. Well, that's better than not alright. So, yay. Yeah. Full of dinner. How I'm alright. I'm full of dinner as well. So, yeah. But don't worry, we don't have to do a lot today, because you might think that this is the Final Fantasy VIII draw-through. And you're correct, but you're also wrong, because it's something slightly different today. So let's pop over to here. If you remember last time, we killed a sorceress, fell through time, and now we're here. Everyone should be full of dinner, yes. Good dinner, preferably. In a moment of drawing stupidity, you decided to design a whole fantasy pirate crew. That's fair. Funnily enough, I actually have an idea for a project involving fantasy pirates. But anyway, yeah. Also, drawing stupidity. If drawing stupidity is suddenly deciding to do a large project, then I'm with you. I always have stupid ideas, including something based on what we're doing today. So, yeah. Usually I recap what happens in the story, but I don't think much happened last time. We beat Kyle, that's not a surprise. We killed a sorceress. We fell through time. We made it to the future with love and friendship. We found some white seed on a some dead white seed on a beach. Should specify. Fanrates, Firates, piracy. There we go. That's a good pun. Anyway, we're at a castle. Also, I drew some other stuff. I drew that and that, which I'm quite pleased with. No, that was good. I know. I don't know where I got them from. Yes. So we're in the final dungeon, which is inexplicably an evil gothic castle. I don't know why. I think the designers of this game were basically, let's make whatever we think is cool. How does it connect to the rest of the game? Don't ask questions. So yeah, we're in an evil gothic future castle that has wings. Just reminder, it has wings. This doesn't come up again, it's just, I need to point it out. Yeah, and we're gonna go in and we're gonna tussle with STPP and stop her from destroying time because we let her destroy time. Still don't know quite what that was supposed to achieve. But anyway, we're here. So, your thought is that you keep asking questions. Yeah, so you might think that today is going to be very, very big on story and very big on plot. We're in the last area. We've got, you know, we're basically near the end of the game. Everything that we've done up till now is going to be important. Well, you'd be wrong for two reasons. One, almost nothing that we've done up till this point is ever going to be important in the rest of the game again. There is one thing that's going to be important, and you're not going to guess what it is, so don't try. But the other reason you'd be wrong is that today's stream has absolutely nothing to do with anything else in the game at all. Not even close. Because the final dungeon of the game, if you remember the rules of the Drawthrough, the rules of the Drawthrough are I have to draw every character, every plot point, and every boss from memory. The final area of the game has 8 bosses, just kind of around. So I've got to draw them now, and they don't have anything to do with anything. So yeah, today's a boss brush. It's impromptu boss brush. Let's go. Right. I said the last part of this game would make a good Metroidvania. And it does in several ways. Firstly, the moment you step inside the castle, you lose all of your abilities. And then in order to get them back, you have to fight a bunch of bosses to get all your stuff back. And the bosses are just there. So, yeah. This game, I know. Right, we'll start with the first one, which is the one in the room you enter in. Let's see if I can remember this. So yeah, if you feel like you're missing story or you can't remember things that are going on, don't worry. It literally doesn't matter today. I don't know how this works. March into their home, start causing trouble. I know. How does this look? Sort of like, I guess it's sort of, I don't really know what this looks like. I'm gonna go. The one thing, again, that like since I've worked out that this would make a good Metroidvania just on its own, I've been sort of thinking like, you know, how would you redesign the mansion so that these bosses actually feel like they fit somewhere? Because they don't. They're just wherever. You never retain anything about these games. You're just here to hang out with friends. That is probably the best thing to do. I can't really think of a situation in which that would backfire. So yeah. Is the music a bit quiet, maybe? There we go. Frame is being intermittent today. I wouldn't say they're being terrible. They're just there. Let's go with that. I'm taking a lot of artistic license with this first one because I don't know. I get it quite quickly usually. Yeah, so the idea of this part of the game is that you just lose all of your abilities, and I'm going to give you face. you lose all of your abilities and you have to get them back. And all you can do when you walk in is you can attack physically, or you can run. That's basically it. Egyptian god, this is the Sphinx you are. I don't know why it's called the Sphinx you are, but it is. And there are two forms to this, but they're very similar, so... It also has friends, which is quite nice. It calls on some friends when it gets... things get bad.
I hate this game.
That's appropriate. Didn't we just have this track? I'm not complaining, it's one of my favourites. Yeah, so this is just here. Again, there is no... Okay, so talking about art projects that are probably, you know, too problematic. TV whiskers, why not? This is a mask, by the way, it's not actually real. Yeah. How does this work? Yeah, I had the idea of like could you redesign the mansion that this is in, because it's just stereotypical Gothic mansion. It's got candelabras, cool pillars. It looks lovely. If it were in any other game, it would be great. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this design. And I thought like, well, like if this appeared in like a museum section, like with lots of artifacts on plinths and all these sorts of things, and you'd see things that were mentioned in the game of like, you know, in history somebody had this and they destroyed an empire and whatever, and then it crops up in this museum in the future. Oh, that'd be cool. And you find this thing in the museum. So yeah, that was an idea for because I want to amongst all the other things I want to practice, I want to practice location design, because I almost exclusively do characters. And I like doing characters. Characters are fun, but I also like locations, and I feel like there should be more stuff like that. This looks nothing like this. I just want to... Again, this boss usually dies quite quickly, so I have no idea what it actually looks like. Practice work has been brilliant. I'm glad you liked it. I was going to reply, because you said it makes you want to get back into practicing again. And I was going to reply, can you practice for me? But you know, I've actually started because now I'm finished with the commissions I've been doing, so I'm going to start actually working towards getting commissions from people other than my friends now. No. You've probably forgotten a crotch face or two. I mean, we have to change the face in a bit, so be patient. It'd be nice if it sort of splits them. I'm trying to think of like what would be a cool design feature. I think there's a lot of like geometric sort of like weird sort of blocky things. And I don't know, it's over designed. It's Final Fantasy. Got like this, and then there's probably like an ank on the end of it. That's not an ank, is it? An ank goes like this. That's the female symbol. There we go. Is it ank or unk? It's Kiro! Hi! Welcome to Boss Brush. Also known as I've got to draw all the bosses in the last area of the game. Because them's the rules. It's a girly sphinx you are. It does have a quite feminine face, actually, which we'll get to. Yeah, again, I think it is actually sitting in the sphinx position. That would make more sense. Why did I draw it standing up? Well, I don't know. Here we are. Yeah, and it can call upon friends, so let's draw some friends. These are just normal enemies in the game, but I've never drawn them, so... How you doing, Kira? You doing alright? It looks good, and nothing like the original. Anyway, there's a glacial eye, and I don't know what the other one is, probably a bite bug. That's basically what they look like, yeah. They're mostly mouth. Posture. You live! Yay! Hurrah and hooroo! Just finished shoveling snow, you've got a lot of snow. Ooh. Hope we're all doing well. One of us is alright, and the other two are full of dinner, so that's as much as I know. Yeah, so that's that. And then we have phase 2, which is when you attack it so much its mask falls off. So that would look... something like this. We do not deserve this fanfare. The final fanfare. I mean, it's actually called Cactus Jack, and I'm not entirely sure why. Then again, why does the song that you love from this soundtrack, why is that called Dance with the Balam Fish? We'll never know. It's got nothing to do with Balam. It played in space. Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, so the mask falls off and it's like a weird mask face underneath, I think. It's weird, I don't know, I don't really remember much of this. This is the easy boss, so you kill it so you can get whatever your first ability you want to get back is. You can't even save at this point. That's one of the things you lose. You lose the ability to save. The ability to save, to use items, to use magic, to use Pokemon. All of these abilities are taken away from you. And one by one you have to kill bosses and then you get to choose what ability you want next, which is a cool idea for a mechanic. It's like a Metroidvania, but you get to choose your progression. Again, there's some cool stuff in here. It's just none of it's got anything to do with the story. Sitting there thinking the song you like is the one to do with the card game, then your brain switched on. That song, yes. Anyway, there's Sphinx You Are and Sphinx You On. It has a different name for some reason. Sphinxoid? I don't know. Right, that's done. Next. What would I kill next? I don't know, what would I kill next? Tri-point, maybe? Okay. This is another one I have no idea what it looks like because it's quite small. But the one thing I do know is it's sort of like... something like got weird, like, pointy bits. This is one of those Tetsuya Nomura designs where you're like, you just kind of doodle for a while and then you went, yep, that'll do. Sphinx Tor? I can't remember. What is it? Sphinxara, apparently. Sphinxer and Sphinxara. You don't remember, so cannot help. Sorry, it's been a little bit of a blur. There's no problemomos. Let me get to your jokes. I got the joke. Don't worry. This is like a Minotaur. Not Minotaur, Centaur. Well, both really. Sphinx and Sarah. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, this one is the one where it's least obvious what it's supposed to be. It's just a thing that floats. They needed something that had the gimmick of like it being able to choose between which element it's weak against, which is a relatively common theme in Final Fantasy games. I think these are like stripy. It's got like hazard stripes and things. So they wanted something to do with the number 3 because there are 3 elements in this game. Actually, there's more elements, but they went with the number 3. Sure? Okay. I'm an idiot, don't worry. The periodic table, that's a slightly larger number to be incorporating into a design. Also, it doesn't end, so it's just got to be an infinite monster, I guess. This is looking a bit Pokemon-y. Yeah, but I don't mind. You know, it's got an imaginative name as well. You know, it's called Tri-Point because it's got 3 points. I don't know how it flies. Give it little wings. Only 3 elements, so the rest got thrown in the bin. What would those 3 elements be? I don't know. Carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen? You can do a lot with those. As elements go, they're pretty useful. Let's give it some unnecessary spikes. Oh, it's Tetsuya Nomura, so it needs a belt. Let's put a belt here. There's one thing that man likes. It's belts. Yeah, I don't. I'm doing the idle doodle that I assume he did when he drew this for the first time. Does like those belts. Although at the very least in Kingdom Hearts, was it Kingdom Hearts 1 was all about belts, 2 was all about zips, and 3 was all about tartan? I don't know where that trend goes really, but I don't know what the 4th one would be. Anyway, there's the weird one. This is in the wine cellar for some reason. I would put it in like the top of a tower with like a lot of electrical equipment. You know, like a kind of Frankenstein's monster sort of room. Lightning rods and all these sorts of things. The only try you expect to try accept. I can't speak today. Doesn't like something you doodle in the corner of your sketchbook. Thing is, Nomura, he can draw. He can draw very well with pencil. The problem is it's in service of nothing. That's rude, but oh well. Like if you look, hang on, I'll show you the actual concept art for this. Because he knows what he's doing. It's just what is it? Like, Like, there's some skill went in this. Look at that. But at the same time, why? Also, look at mine. This is... He's good. He is a good artist. Why does he design things like this? To be fair, it's better than just, you know, generic dragon or generic goblin. Yeah, and here's my thing. Here's my offering to the table. Again, if we're thinking of a new location that this could be in, a big old stone tower right at the top, lightning rods, electrical equipment, weird like furnaces and yeah. Anyway, next. What's next? Let's do the other one I'm not entirely sure how to draw. Well, I'm not entirely sure how to draw most of them, really. But this one's like... Draw the basic sort of... Yeah, that's about right. So this is just like a big old lump of crystals. It has the imaginative name Krista. And it's mostly well known for counter-attacking to every attack you do, and when it dies, it casts the most powerful spell in the game. So, it's just annoying, really. We just have this. Oh no, it's the one I always listen out to because inexplicably it gets copyright strikes. Like the one thing I will give Final Fantasy is a lot of the time they could do something generic and they choose not to. You know, fantasy can get so easily bogged down in, oh, elves and dwarves and orcs and dragons and mimics and all these sorts of things, but the Final Fantasy feels a little bit more rooted in, like old style, sort of like 80s fantasy, where kind of anything goes and everything looks ugly. You know what I mean? And Welsh elves, exactly. Your stereotypical Welsh elves. If you look at like the old fighting fantasy books and things like that, that kind of very ugly art, but it's like, it's in service of a creative, just trying to be a little different, you know? Whereas at the moment we're having a resurgence of fantasy and it's all based around, you know, Tolkien and that sort of stuff. Which is fine, but, you know, at some point we're going to come up with something new. Will any of this stick? Probably not. I mean, to be fair, it is hard, because I was sort of working on a fantasy thing for a personal project, and I said to myself, let's try not to go down the whole sort of dwarves and elves and orcs and all that sort of route. Let's actually try and come up with an original sort of fantasy world. And it's hard. You always end up accidentally recreating something that already exists. So yeah, we won't actually get around to doing any story today, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to take my time enjoying drawing these weird friends. And by friends, I mean enemies. And by enemies, I mean frenemies. Where would you put Krista? How about like a subterranean cave, I guess? Where like you go down this improbably long ladder from you know, a basement. You go into the basement because it is like the castle's on a massive lump of rock, so that would make sense, right? The basement, yes. At the moment, the basement is a wine cellar and it contains tri-point for no reason. On an altar with the rest of the crystals. Treasure room. You'd also think that's that's an idea. Yeah, treasure room, guarding the valuables. Because I imagine these things like have a purpose in the castle, right? Like, why are they here? I like the idea that they're pests. STPP is just constantly trying to get rid of them, and you never can. They're just always there, being annoying. Has anyone got anything interesting planned for the week? For it is a brand new week with exciting, fun possibilities. Yes, they have 3 arms. I don't know why. I remember, because obviously this is at the end of the game, and when you're a kid, you spend most of your time playing the beginning of the game. And almost every boss and enemy in the game has a card. And so your kind of first exposure to these things is from the art on the card. But the art on the card is like, 50 pixels. So I always used to miss-see, like, this sort of silhouette as being like a weird sort of spiky face. So like, well, hello there. How you doing? But it wasn't. It was a crystal monster. So yeah, that's Krista. Good friend. What next? The Crystal Pac-Man. I want to see if I can get that art up as well. Just see if you can see what I see. Is there a link on this page? Krista. Here we go. Well, it looks a little bit cooler than what I just drew. Not much. Okay, that was it. So if I copy this and then stick it, then why is it red? The image I copied was blue. That's weird. So like, it's sort of difficult to make out from this what it would be. Like, again, this is higher resolution than I could see on my CRT. I think what I saw originally was sort of like some stuff going up here, and then this is like a nose or something, and then this is, because there's like a little red bit there that I forgot about, so that looks like the inside of a mouth. And hi! How you doing? Hey. This is my new goblin design. Yeah, you have some ideas which you meant to get started today, but instead decided to read a chapter of a book while your iPad was charging. 11 chapters later, and the day kind of a bust. It wasn't a bust. You read 11 chapters of a book you got absorbed into, which is great. That's the whole point of the book. What's the Pokemon called? Gibble? The shark head with legs? I don't know. Let me look up Pokemon Gibble, because if not, this friend is called Gibble. Oh, it's called Ghibli. 1B apparently, but I see what you mean. There's a bit of a connection going on there. This is a Gibble. This is Gibble. Gibble. Fan art to come. Fan art? It's not fan art if I do it, is it? Gibble is Ghibli's brother. Fair enough. Or is it Gibble? It is probably Gibble, actually, because it would be Giburu. Giburu, I guess. Oh no, according to this, the Japanese name is Fukamaru, so I have no idea what it is. Anyway. So, what's next? What have we done? We've done Sphinx you are, Sphinx I am. Sphinx we all pretend to be. We've done Tripoint, we've done Krista. So... Trauma? I guess? Vividarium Intervigilium Viator. Right. So yeah, this is...
Gibble.
Gibble. Gibble. I don't know what this thing looks like. Okay. This thing has a really cool design. It looks like something from Final Fantasy X. But what does it look like? I downloaded the concept art for this the other day because it looked really cool, and I've just forgotten it completely. Anyway, so this part of the game, this part of the castle, is a portrait gallery, or a painting gallery, I should say.
Gibubble.
Gibubble. Gibubble. Oh, you're so gibbable. You believe anything. So yeah, it's a sort of... Does it have like holes in its face? That's unsettling. So yeah, we're in a portrait gallery for this. I think it's got like massive shoulder pad things or something. It's weird design. And you have to solve a puzzle because there is a big painting which does not have a title. And you have to go around all of the other paintings, which are all paintings of something with a whose Latin name begins with either an X, I, or V, because it's a clock puzzle, sort of. Roman numerals. What does this thing look like? I can't remember at all. Hang on. Let me doodle some thumbnails and see if I can get something that feels right. It's sort of like... That feel right? Anyway, the solution to the puzzle is Vividarium Intervigilium Viator. For reasons I don't actually understand. It means the translation is roughly, well, it's not a translation, it's just nouns. But it just means garden, sleep, and messenger. So in the garden sleeps a messenger or whatever. And then this thing appears just in the middle of the room for no reason once you've done that. I think, okay, we'll go with that and we'll try and work it out from there. So yeah, this is trauma. I don't know why, it just is. So we sort of wanted to go sort of more like that. This would make like a cool, meaningful boss somewhere. But again, it's just sort of squandered. Just sort of exists. I'm sure it like goes down at the end or something like that. It's annoying when you're like sort of, oh yeah, I'll draw these things. I've seen them loads of times before. They're in my head. I know what they look like. And the moment it comes to put pen to stylus to tablet, it just all disappears. Wait, are the things I'm thinking about actually here? Are they not on the shoulders? They might not be on the shoulders. I have mistaken shin pads for shoulder pads. There's something that doesn't happen every day. Let's go with that. That seems alright. There's some funky designs on this that I'm not really prepared to, or I'm not well prepared to sort of recreate, because don't really do that kind of art. But so nice intricate sort of patterns, and again, this boss looks cool because I don't really know what it is, but it works visually speaking. If it weren't for the fact that it was just all yellow, it'd be nice if it had some more interesting colours going on. But I'm pretty sure it has like a weird thing at the bottom. Has it got like sort of something like that? I don't think it does, but it does now. Where would this be in our newly designed mansion? Because I don't even know what it is. I think it's supposed to be like a kind of like a clay figurine or something, just like a kind of exaggeration of that idea. Like one of those old sort of clay burial things. Is that a thing, or am I making that up? The more I think about this, the more I think it doesn't have these shoulder pads. It's fine, don't worry about it. I remember seeing it had like a design on in the concept art where it's like this all fits together via like a ball and socket design or something strange. Again, oddly over designed for something that has no purpose in the game. It's just here in the final area as a thing to kill. Twitch, stop just... No, Twitch, stop it. Stop being the thing. Now, you're going to see the garden will make a nice flower pot or water feature. Yeah. Well, this boss, like Sphinx Friend, has allies as well. Because while there's the big old floaty one, I don't know why I specified floaty. The allies are also floaty. There are other little ones, and I have no idea what they look like. Because I tend to kill this boss before they even turn up. I'm gonna say they're basically the same, but sort of upside down. So they got this bit at the top, and then so like it's like that. So yeah, there's enough variation in the design of these bosses, again, to make me feel like you could probably make a good Metroidvania out of this. I'm going to give them big hands as well. These are, I believe, called Droma. Don't know why. Changes that. No, I think. Have them be free floating hands. Drone rumbas, drumbas. Dremel. That was just having a good time. So there we go. Vividarium Intervigilium Viator, whatever, something like that. I'm not even entirely sure these are connected. Let's put that there. That feels more appropriate. Not correct, but appropriate. Oh, it reminds me of a terrible quiz show that's on TV during the day over here, where it's like, we're going to give you a multiple choice question. And there will be 3 answers. There will be a wrong answer, a correct answer, and an impossible answer, which is more wrong than the wrong one. And it's like, but it's wrong. How can you be more wrong than wrong? Basically, their excuse is like, oh well, the wrong answer, you know, it's plausible that it could be, it just isn't. And it's like, well then it's not plausible, is it? Oh, I don't know. Very cute. I know, they're just really running out of ideas. They had a hit with Pointless, and they've been trying to do that again ever since. Anyway, this is not Trauma. I want to look up Trauma now because I don't even have to look it up. I have the art on my computer. Oh no, it does have sort of shouldery things, but not like that. Wow, it's got, hands are bigger than I thought. Oh, and the hands of the little flying ones are like salt and pepper shakers. Oh. Anyway, enough of that. What if the impossible answer seems more plausible to you than the wrong answer? Exactly. I'm trying to think of an example, like, I don't know, it'd be like sort of, you know, who wrote the famous poem The Raven? Was it Edgar Allan Poe? Was it H.P. Lovecraft? Or was it Boris Johnson? Like, the idea being, oh, you know, Boris Johnson wasn't even alive when it was written. I don't even know if Lovecraft was, but you get the idea, that kind of thing. Whereas like they have a reason why one of them's less plausible. And it's like, it's just so arbitrary. Because I'm sure you could come up with another reason that the impossible one is more plausible than the other wrong one, because they're both wrong. Anyway. Sonic has big hands, absolutely. I like my little ones, they're cool. The one motif that these things share doesn't exist in the main design, so seems highly subjective. It is! It's the entire premise of the show, and it's terrible. I've only seen like 5 minutes of it, but it made me angry. Raven isn't racist enough to have been written by Lovecraft. No, the Raven's all about inner turmoil. Lovecraft wouldn't know anything about that. Everything's on the outside, everything's external. It's all everyone else's problems. Everyone else is driving me mad, it's not me. Oh, hello, Frame Man. So yeah, if we ever get up to a Final Fantasy X draw through, expect stuff looking like this. Because this is apparently what I draw in the face of whatever it was I was trying to draw. I didn't even look how the arms connected. I was too distracted by the fact that its hands were bigger than I thought. Yeah. So there's Traumish. It's like trauma, but not. Yeah. Have we done 4? I think we've done 4. So we're on time. There's only 8. Better idea. Have a question, 3 wrong answers, and people have to debate about why their answer is the worst one. Who can be most wrong? That sounds fun. That was actually something I was considering the idea of doing. I was watching, again, it was another daytime. I don't actually watch daytime TV, but I do. The TV's always left on, much to my chagrin. And I keep walking past it, and it's daytime blather. But there was like a trivia show, but it was like a quick fire thing, and they were asking questions that are like almost word association. Like they were so simple. To anyone who would happen. What I'm about to say is going to sound stupid. It sounds simple to any. It's really easy question to anyone who happens to know the answer. It's trivia, so that's basically the conceit. But like, you know, who's the queen, etc. What year is it? And I like the idea of doing something like that, where it's like reflex. You don't even have to engage your conscious mind to answer the question, but the idea of it is you have to say a plausible but incorrect answer. So like, you know, if you say, oh, what year is it? You have to say 1997. But it has to be relatively plausible. You can't just say artichoke, you know. Otherwise you just say artichoke to every question, and that's no fun. And I was interested to see that whether or not that would take longer, whether or not that would be more difficult to take some of these really obvious quickfire trivia rounds. Would it be more difficult to answer them wrongly than correctly? It's designed to be hilarious and also make everyone angry with how wrong everyone is. I mean, that's just Twitter, isn't it? Should we televise Twitter? That sounds like a terrible idea. Anyway, what's next? Well, going through the mansion, I guess, we come out from the portrait gallery and into a dungeon. Do you want to go left or right? This is a choose your own adventure draw through now. You're in a dungeon. Twitter isn't designed to be hilarious. Twitter was designed to be throwaway. It was designed to be silly and flippant. It was designed, you know, when I joined it, I followed comedians who posted silly things, and I posted haikus and bad puns, and that was it. And that's what Twitter was. And then at some point, people thought they could talk politics on it, and it all exploded. Twitter was... That's why it had a short message span. Was the idea was, you know, you can't talk about anything serious if you don't have many characters. Turns out people can try. Frame Man is actually being alright today so far. Like, we've dropped, you know, 700 frames, but comparatively not terrible. Vote Weast. Vote Norg. There is no Norg. We killed Norg. Although in one of my recent playthroughs, if you remember, when we killed Norg, a cocoon appeared around him, presumably something to do with the life cycle of the custard people. I played on my recent playthrough. I went back there, and the cocoon was open. So presumably Norg got reborn at some point. I don't know what he turned into, but all sides go downhill once you talk politics on it. Yeah. Including Twitch. Now! We've just done it! We've just ruined Twitch! Ha! As if we needed to. What are you talking about? I'm talking about Norg. Do you need a reminder of Norg? Let's go back to Norg. I was never happy with how far away I drew Norg. Oh, perfect. There's Norg. Do you remember Norg? Norg becoming... He is a custard person. He's got another custard person. There's custard people. And then when we killed him, he turned into a cocoon. Because the custard people have 3 parts of their life cycle. Or they start as young custard people, and then when they get to a certain point, their outside appearance connects or begins to represent how they feel inside, I guess. And he was big, he was greedy and, you know, grasping and evil and corporate and capitalist, and so he became a big old fat custard blob. But if you're pure of heart and kind and nice, you turn into one of those rabbit tiger creatures called Mumbas, which don't look anything like custard, but apparently that's what you turn into. Anyway, enough of that. Norg. Back to whatever we're doing. West. Which way's west? It's like left, right? Okay, cool. Okay, you enter a prison dungeon torture chamber, I guess. I don't know, really. It's got chains. And you find your next boss, which is a staple of the series, it must be said. And I'm gonna just absolutely butcher it for fun. I think this one started as a super boss in Final Fantasy III, maybe? I know it is a super boss in Final Fantasy III, but it might not have started like that. Yeah, why not? So this is the Red Giant, which is a variation on the Iron Giant, which is a recurring enemy in the games. And this is like, presumably, I guess, supposed to be the Torturer? This one makes sense as to where it is. Or it can make sense if you want it to. I think that's like horns, isn't it? It does now. I'm giving it a tiny head. As I can. It's raining quite heavily at the moment. Hopefully you can't hear that, or if you can, it's not. Hopefully it's not as big a bother as it otherwise might be. Yeah, this is just like a big old, big suit of armor, with like exaggerated muscles on the armor, I guess. Rain is nice. I can imagine you'd want some rain at the moment to clear away the snow. But yeah, we haven't had any snow. We had a little bit of snow once at some point. Recently, I mean. We've had snow before, but Crispy Parsnips, Art and Rain ASMR. Art and Rain ASMR. That's a... Clearly I don't partake in ASMR. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I've never really understood it. Just people talking into a microphone closely. I understand that people have like a visceral reaction to it somehow, but that doesn't really happen to me. You have snow here at the moment. It's very pretty. Oh, lovely. In the northern part of the Netherlands, it's apparently been snowing quite a bit. Here, absolutely nothing. That's, I guess, literally the situation with me and Miss at the moment. In the northern part of the country, lots of snow. Down here, bugger all. Yeah. I suppose I should move you over here. Rain would be nice and would clear away snow if it stayed warm enough to stay as rain. If the temperature drops below freezing, though, everything's icy and pretty treacherous. Yeah, I can imagine that's an issue. So it can be nice and it can be bad, depends. You do like the rain, though. Yeah. It's like, so like that, but then I guess like this. Like, I'm exaggerating this. I'm not. This is not what I'm taking seriously. But at the same time, they do have quite small faces under helmets. Things were thawing, then it rained and it froze, and now we've had a permanent layer of about 3 inches of ice under the snow. That sounds wonderful. I'm sure that will cause absolutely no problems whatsoever. Oh, Chibi, you'll like this. The music that's playing at the moment is like a piano version of a track I couldn't find on the soundtrack, and I was like, oh, I keep remembering this track. I wonder what the motif is, because it keeps coming up in the game, and I'm like, I wonder what it represents, this piece of music. And it's called Ami, because it's all about friends and friendship and how friends are important in this game. That of course they would use that motif. This game is all about friends. Thought you might like to know that. You think you remember this friend from the FFVIII's AU we did? Nope, none at all. Looks at wrist splint beside you. Oh. Hopefully that's healing alright. So the first time you remember anything from that during this draw through. I like how you didn't remember the main character that we used. Granted, they were just like iguanas. Iguanodon? No. Iguan. That's what they're called. Iguion. Yeah, I always thought it was Iguan, but it's not. It's Iguion. I was like, that's unnecessarily awkward. Why must you make me excited by saying Chibi would like it and then let you down? I'm sorry. Anyway, there we go. This friend's gimmick is they are basically invulnerable to everything, except one particular spell, which is the gravity spell, which traditionally reduces your health by a particular percentage. So, you know, it gets rid of half of your remaining health or whatever. But in this game, I still don't know really how it works. It's random. But it's the only thing that this boss is weak to. It's also the only thing that you can... It's the only magic that you can suck out of it. So that's convenient. But they're alright. So this boss I feel like fits where they are. They're in a dungeon. Torture chamber sort of thing. Makes sense. Ooh. Right. That's what happens when you go west. Now what happens when you go est? So, if you go est, you come across an armory where there's a bunch of weapons and stuff on the walls, just sort of pikes and swords and spears and that kind of thing. And you start a fight with this thing, which you can fight in the game. It's just an enemy that you may or may not have fought before. You can fight a lot of them in the salt plains, if you remember that. Where there's basically just sort of like a head in the sand, or in the salt, I guess, and then also two hands sticking up out. They look like they need assistance. They might need assistance. They're in the floor. No, go away. Yeah, pinches and patches. They look like they need a hand. Insert laugh track.
Laughtrack.exe has stopped working.
That made me laugh. I like the careful parsing you had to do there to make sure that Hazel knew what to say. Needs a bit of hand holding, bless her. It took too much thought. Well, it succeeded, so hey, wonderful. I believe the hands, because in the battle, each of the enemies sort of has their own name. I can't remember what the head's called. But the hands are called lefty and righty, which is nice. Righty's like, hi. I mean, the creepy thing about this in the main game is, yeah, you can fight a head and two hands. You could also fight four hands, a couple of heads. They just come in whatever combination. So there's just like a mass of stuff under the ground, and you're not entirely sure what's attached to what. So yeah, and the idea is, and I will never be able to do this idea justice, it is pretty cool if you have actually been fighting monsters and paying attention to the game, which has no guarantee of that, but if you have, you will recognise this and you're like, oh, one of these. So I fought these before. Sure, great, grand. And then you kill it. And then after you kill it, it comes out of the ground, which is never done before. Well, it mostly comes out of the ground anyway. One of my favourite things about this boss is that it's one of its signature moves is just to come along and just twist like what's it called? They used to call it a Chinese burn when I was a kid. I think Charlie horse is another name for it. Yeah, it just does that, but with your whole character. Just grabs their torso, grabs their legs, and twists. I was like, that's an intimidating move. And I love it when attacks like that miss. It's like, okay, how'd you manage that? Sounds intimidating. It is. Yeah, I can't remember what this is called. Something like Gigantos or something silly. This looks like a kind of pelvis sort of thing. I don't know what a pelvis looks like. Yeah, this is like hollow behind here. It's a weird design. But again, quite cool and intimidating. Does the job. If only it actually had a purpose. That looks like a nose. Don't worry about it. Honestly, sounds amazing after a year of being hunched at your desk. I've been hunched at my desk for about a decade now. Between maths and art, there's not an awful lot of sitting up straight. I remember when I started my, was it masters? I think, yeah, I started my masters at university, and one of the lecturers that I'd known for a while, he was doing a kind of introduction to postgraduate stuff with a little group of master students. And he, you know, I came along and was like, oh, masters, you know, it's like, we're done with early university, now we're on to sort of proper academic stuff now. And he conducted the entire meeting just sort of sat like this in the chair. And I remember thinking at the time, why are you sitting like that? That doesn't seem professional. And then I realized everybody has back problems if you work in maths. It's just the thing. And this was a German. They're supposed to be sensible, aren't they? He was also very tall. He used to play basketball. Nice guy. Anyway, looks like a comfy sit. He's got very long arms. Yeah. Anyway, that was my first impression of being a master's student at university. Yeah. So those hands don't match. Doesn't matter. Moving on. What's left? Oh, Chibi, it's the Friends song. So, okay. Yeah, okay. So, evil Charizard. I'll skip it, it's just a piano thing. Oh, no. It's at the end of the playlist. If you're at the end of a playlist on YouTube, but you have it on shuffle, and you press next to go to the next song on shuffle, it'll just go to the next thing up on the autoplay that YouTube thinks you'll like after listening to the playlist, because YouTube's a pain in the proverbial. None of the characters are friends. They're not really. Yeah, this'll do. Okay, evil Charizard. So, Spiky. Let's go Spiky. So in Final Fantasy, there are 2 dragons usually. In fact, I say in Final Fantasy, I'm pretty sure it's from another mythology or something. I don't know. Of 2 dragons. There's a good one and there's a bad one. And the good one was Charizard. When did we do that? A couple of weeks ago. Charizard. There we go. We drew Charizard. There they are. They're our friend. They're one of our Pokemon. But there is an equal and opposite Charizard, who is evil. Me. And this is, funnily enough, this is actually a Pokemon in the story. I didn't realize this until I was looking up translations. This is actually a Pokemon, but it's a Pokemon that has been turned evil by STPP. I don't know why that needed to be in the story, because I never knew it, but it is. Every Charizard has an equal and opposite Charizard, as the saying goes. Yes. By nope, I can't think of a pun involving the words Isaac Newton and Pokemon. So if anyone wants to have a go, I can't think of a Pokemon with the word Newt in it. That would be ideal. Is there a Newt Pokemon? Apparently Zalazel's Japanese name is Newt. That doesn't help, because I don't know who Zalazel is. We know his Pokemon would be the Apple Dragon. Yes. That would have done. Like, what's it called? What's the Apple one called? Appleton? Apple Bob? Applin, yeah. So, that's what Isaac Newton said after an applin fell on his head. See, that's the joke. Like, there's a joke there. It's possible to make. It may need some self-assembly, but it's there. He's holding a rotten apple. Here's your joke. Some assembly required. Sponsored by IKEA. It's called IKEA-midi. IKEA-midi. That kind of works. If you had the right accent, that would be good. So yeah, this Dragon's deal is they're on a timer. They don't attack you, but there's a timer, and when it gets down to the bottom, it'll do an attack, and it's big and it's horrible and not very nice. Unless, of course, you happen to have equipped magic that means you're immune to it, in which case it can't do anything to you. But it'll keep trying, bless it. Also, we've seen that gimmick before, only more intimidating in the form of Erden. Why is... Oh, come on. Okay, hang on. Go there. And then do that. Okay, right, cool. We're back on track. Bit rude of you, to be honest, not letting it attack after I waited so patiently. It'll attack, it's just it won't do any damage. Am I supposed to be like, you know, like when a little kid comes up to you with a plastic sword and they're like, I am the pirate and I am going to attack you, and they, ha! Like that, and they lightly tap your leg and you're supposed to sort of feign damage. I should probably give it wings. So yeah, this one sort of appears in a clock tower. I guess that makes sense. For what with them being a timed thing. Oh yeah, where should old Head and Hands be? They kind of make sense in a garden as well, wouldn't they? Underground. You know, it would make more sense than the stone floor where you find them. Like, you know, literally like paved stone. It's difficult to climb out of paved stone. Unless this is like a mafia situation and they've been sort of concreted in by STPP. Who even knows? I don't. Think I'm paying attention? I was told that it probably doesn't matter. Why would I be paying attention anymore? Paying attention? Sorry, what were you saying about paying attention? Go away, Marks and Spencer's advert. Yay. You're supposed to pay attention, you've been drawing a pirate crew. No, that's absolutely fine. I actually can't remember why I mentioned paying attention. Oh yeah, because Head and Hands in Ground Friend was inexplicably in a stone floor. Have you told me that your nephew refers to me solely as Artist Chris? No, you haven't, but that is adorable. Also, I would argue, factually incorrect, but flattering. Right now you're adding a buff tiefling lady to the group. That's always a good sign. There may be many reasons to pay attention, but it doesn't matter. Oh dear. Somebody did. I got my hopes up a little bit because I was looking through. I have a website I go to that lists a bunch of game randomizers and it keeps updating them so when new ones come out. And there's Final Fantasy VIII randomizer and all that. And I thought, I wonder if the website that comes from has any other mods. Turns out the website is entirely devoted to people making mods for Final Fantasy VII, VIII, and IX, which is cool. And somebody made apparently a new dialogue mod for Final Fantasy VIII, and I was like, oh my god, did somebody actually like fix the translation of this game so I can get some sort of decent reason as to what's actually going on here? And it turns out that's not what they've done. What they've done is they've appreciated that the story of this game is so broken that they just rewrote it. And they were like, I made this mod primarily to fix translation issues, but I realized that there were so many problems I ended up just changing stuff. Like, you know, there's no such thing as time compression in this. They didn't all come from the same orphanage. I'm changing all of this because it's stupid. So, it's not just us. Somebody literally spent months making a mod to just change the story. I like this guy. Looks nothing like the original, but I like it. Me. Yeah, it's the weird double bass. I'm just taking some time on this. There's only 2 bosses left to do, so I thought, you know, make something that I'm proud of. Well, proud's a strong word. Make something I didn't think was an entire waste of time. Also, I believe the move that this thing does is called Dark Flare, which sounds useless. I'm not entirely sure what the point of a Dark Flare is. Who's my favourite out of these bosses? It depends what you mean by favourite. The word favourite is one of those very abstract and often ill-defined terms. I don't know. Like, I really like the design. It doesn't make any sense, but I do like the design of Trauma. However you want to interpret it. Oh, it's up to me, is it? I've got to do all the work here. Honestly. I'm already trying to draw 8 things in 2 hours, which is just, it's exhausting. Yes. Entertain us. Oh, that gives that Robbie Williams song a slightly different interpretation if you know that just outside of the microphone's range is a man holding a knife going, entertain me. Let me entertain you. Or maybe it was just Miss. Maybe Miss was there. I don't know why I immediately went for a man. So yeah, I like Trauma. Trauma's good. I don't know what's going on with the Sphinx one. It's just weird. It's also pink. I like the twist on the head and hands in the ground. Unfortunately, excuse me, muted trumpet getting in my ears like a mosquito. Unfortunately, you don't really fight that enemy very much, so you might have just forgotten it was a thing, or maybe you never encountered it in the first place. If there was a bit in the game where it's compulsory to fight one of those, then maybe that would be cool. Because the reveal of like, oh, it actually clambering out of the ground, these things are attached, it's a monster, help. That's cool. I like that. I feel like possibly it could have been a better fight, but then again, that's true of pretty much every Final Fantasy boss ever. But spikes on the spikes. Yeah. No, not you. You weren't a Robbie fan when he was in his heyday. Well, that's why you were threatening him to entertain you. You're like, I don't like the stuff you're doing. Entertain me. I was listening to some of his stuff recently. I can't remember why I was... Oh, no, I was listening to it because there was the Robbie... what's it called? The... I don't know, the Robbie paradigm? I don't know what to call it. But one of his songs begins with the words... But basically something along the lines of... First they mock you, then they... First they ignore you, then they mock you, then they fight you, then you win, or something like that. And that's a sort of reference to sort of various marginalized communities or whatever over the years who were marginalized, then mocked, then attacked, and then hopefully come out on top and become just part of society. And that was used in reference to something, and I was like, what is that? And then I found the song. But if you listen to some of his sort of, before he became like a kind of dance music sort of thing, if you listen to some of his early stuff, it's quite sort of, not bleak, but kind of, how would you describe it? It's very sort of downcast in a weird way. Musically, it's kind of just floating around. Yeah, it just feels like there's a sort of odd sadness to it for a pop song, especially, you know, coming out of whatever, was it Take That? Was Robbie Williams part of? I can't remember. I don't know, maybe that was him trying to distance himself, but yeah, if you listen to some of the early stuff, it's just sort of like, it's oddly sort of mellow and slightly bleak. Which I guess was the thing that was in the 90s, just sort of happened. Here is Anworm. Hey, this is the music that plays when you meet Norg. You tend to only listen to him around Christmas as Frank Sinatra style covers. He's not terrible at swing. It feels like he enjoys that more, which is nice. It's always nice when an artist is actually enjoying themselves. Anyway, here's evil Charizard with their rotten apple and their plastic pirate sword. Nog, the custard man. It was definitely real, and you absolutely believe me. Yes, he might have turned into a rabbit tiger. Not sure, but he might have done. I like the idea that he did. Right. Last one. And I've saved the one I can remember the least for last. Dragon Friend's good. I like the Dragon Friend. So this one just... Okay, I want to... Before I get into drawing it, because I don't know what I'm going to draw. This one... You have to go through a very convoluted process to find this one. You have to... So in the final area, your party splits in two. And occasionally you have to do certain things to... Like, one group goes off and does some stuff, and then that allows the other group to go and do something else, and so on and so forth. So you're constantly switching between your party of 6 friends. And you can choose who goes in what party. There's a weird puzzle where there's like a lift, an elevator sort of thing, but it's like a set of scales, and if one... And you can... It's sort of naturally down like this. Hang on, I want to explain. It's naturally down like on this side, and then there's a sort of upside here with like a walkway going to it. And the idea is you put one group of your people here, the other group come out here and stand on this, and then this goes down, and this goes up, and then you can get to a room that's over here. That's the idea. But one thing the game never explicitly tells you is that this group of people has to be lighter than this group of people, which makes sense. When you say it, obviously the heavier group's got to weigh down the lighter group, but the way you do that is basically just by having more female characters in this party than in this party. It's like, this has never been a thing before. But yeah, I just remember that being really weird. Anyway, once you've done that, you get a key, and once you've got the key, you get into the room where this next boss is. The room is a mortuary. It's got coffins and stuff, and you have to do a puzzle involving coffins. It's not very good. And then a big monster appears. This game is too many things, yes. Too many things, and not enough simultaneously. So how I don't know. Just gonna draw a big old dog monster. So yes, this is the last one in a weird coffin room. Again, there's no reason this should be here. It's just a big old dog monster. This is a form of the behemoth, or behemoth. I don't know how you pronounce it. Behemoth? I think I used to pronounce it behemoth when I was a kid, so it's probably behemoth. So you're going to draw a spider monster. No spider monsters. There is an enemy in the game, which is like a giant mantis sort of thing. But other than that, oh, there's the big metal spider. But that's not a spider, that's got 4 legs. So yeah, there's not a lot of spider stuff in this game, must be said. Yeah, so this is a form of the behemoth called Catoblepas. I don't know why it's called Catoblepas. I imagine there's some sort of mythical creature called a Catoblepas. I'm probably not saying that right, but I'm going to keep saying Catoblepas. If anybody has any information about what a Catoblepas is, do let me know. Do Catoblepas it on. I'm going to say this was locked in the coffin room by the Sphinx. I somehow managed to draw something that looks more like a tiger than the tigers I attempt to draw. It's got the big old stubby nosy thing. Catoblepas. So, same, but if you swap around the E and the A. And take off one of the S's at the end. And that's, yeah. Also has a mohawk, if I remember correctly. Yes. The catobleps. Why isn't it called catobleps? That sounds so much funnier. Was a large bull-shaped... What? Was a large bull-shaped of Ethiopia. Whose downward-hanging face, when lifted, could kill with gaze or with the fumes of its noxious breath. Okay, well, it doesn't do either of those things. It casts meteors at you. Then now you just copy-paste. No, I'm not blaming you. How do you... How? Oh, it's Norg again. Everybody's favourite. I'm drawing this very human-like. We'll go with it, why not? Better not be. Would I ever? No, I judge you constantly. I judge you to be a very good artist and a lovely person. That's my judgment. Even the little cat is. I think it has horns as well. More knives. Can't threaten me with a knife to stop me doing that one. As a professional judger, you agree with Chris on the misjudgment. See? Calling it a misjudgment is not necessarily the best turn of phrase. Also, yes, judger, not judge. Well, no. Judges, as history has shown, can be wrong. A judger? No. Always right. Fortunately, this is neither dog nor cat nor human nor anything that exists. This is a blep. This is a catoblep. And nobody can correct me on my anatomy of the canatoblep. Is judger a word? Just, it's starting to sound wonky. Judges never have a misjudgment, especially not when it comes to the misjudgment. Now you have to make it blep. That's a tiny tunnel. When you say bubble over and over and it starts sounding wrong after a while. Judger is not a word. But it is in our world. Just, you know, not in the world of English. Big old floofy tail. And also meteors. The drunk glockenspiel, no, xylophone player. So where would we put Blep? You don't live in the world of English. English isn't real anyways. That's your judgment on the English language. That's fair. The English language is 3 other baby languages and a trench coat. I am interested in what the Catobla Pass actually looks like. Whoa! Why is that on? What? Where'd that come from? How long has that been there for a while, or did that just appear? How did I do that? How does that happen? Has Pokemon Gibble been on screen this whole time? Or did that just appear? Didn't notice before I was there. Where did it come from? I haven't touched OBS. Why is it there? Well, Gibli. How weird. Oh, okay, it's more muscly, the horns go forwards, and it's got a big old fluffy chest. But other than that... Oh, wow. The Catobla passes from Final Fantasy 15 look weird. Oh, they look nice. Big old grazing animals. Giraffes or something. Oh. This is the thing, the names carry on through the games, but the designs absolutely don't. So... Frame-Man is in the system messing with my OBS. Wow, Frame-Man's getting more powerful. There's something wrong with that dinosaur. It's fictional. Yes, it's not blepping, and that's the biggest tragedy of them all. Do you remember them? Cool. Final Fantasy 15 does have some cool designs of like, just like what if now that we can do scale, right? Now that we can actually, you know, make monsters that have a really decent size and scope to them. Let's just go for it. You know, I'll give them that. I haven't even played the game, and that's the only thing that appeals to me in that game. Yeah. So yeah, we've met the Rogues Gallery of completely. Hello, Dark. You're here to experience the Rogues Gallery. What's it called? The recap. Is that a behemoth? No, it's a blep. Yeah, so we've been through all of the optional bosses in the last area of the game. That's all we did today. Here they are. Here is Sphinx you are, and here's Sphinx you not. It's a thing. There's Tri-Point. It's got 3 points in it, clever. There's Christmas. Can't remember. I think we called this something else, but it was Christmas. Oh yeah, and this is my little friend called Gibble, who I made from the silhouette. How I used to see the silhouette of the last boss on the card in the game in low resolution. Remember the little guy on the left more than the Sphinx? That's because it's a general enemy and you fight it quite a lot. Then there's Trauma and the little Droma twins. Yeah, we love and cherish Gibble in this house. I like Gibble. There's the red giant, who's here to knife you, here to cleave. There's whoops! I've just popped out of the ground and I haven't put my clothes on. So they're having a good time. There's evil Charizard, who has a rotten apple and a plastic pirate sword. For reasons. And finally we have the Catableps, who is a blep. And also meteors. So that's all the optional bosses in the final area of the game. All that leaves now is the end of the game. You know, the bosses that are actually important to the story, kind of. Yeah. So that'll be that. Also, hi Dark, how you doing? Having a good day? Yeah. You am good. That's good. That's a tautology. So yeah. You can make Simon in XCOM apparently. Oh, good. I hope you enjoy having an indifferent soldier. One who thinks it's a good idea to let the aliens win because that might give you a chance to win somehow. If you let them win first, they won't be expecting that. Thanks for stream. Thanks for coming to stream. Hope you all had a good time. Yeah, next week, presumably the end. I don't think there's an awful lot to do. There's the final battles, and then there's the post battles cutscenes, and then there's the words at the end. And then just a large collective sigh. We're making music to watch games by. But consider power of friendship. Yes. Actually do consider power of friendship. Remember that for next time. That'll be important. Right now your pirate crew consists of 4.5 people. Cool. Wonderful. I drew 8 bad monsters. We also discussed how we could possibly redesign the mansion so that these enemies felt like they fit somewhere. And I want to do that. I want to paint some nice location stuff so that they have nice places to be. Also, this deserves to be a Metroidvania. And it is, because you lose all your abilities when you go in there. But anyway, I drew one face, got tired, so decided to vibe with Strem. Yeah. Vibing is a good time. Oh, you should check out. Okay, well, I've been checked in for 2 hours, so yeah, sure. Wait, why? I should check out. What? Wait, what? Why? I'm just playing around. Put them in Discord. You put them wherever you wish. You're more than welcome to put them in the I still don't even know what they are. No play. That knife's getting a lot of use. Only entertain. I will have to make my own knife emote, I think. We'll work it out. Because last month I did emotes on Discord that I commonly use. Try and make my own versions of those. I guess try and make commonly used Twitch emotes this month. Yeah. I just love how, because of the setup I have, my old laptop has Twitch chat on it and Discord so that it frees up CPU on the main computer. So for this entire time, I've been reading chat, but at the same time, immediately to the left of chat is Greg Wallace, with the words "buttery biscuit base" floating above his head. And I've only just realised the absurdity of this whole situation. Knife and a that doesn't look weird. That's fair. Brilliant artist for environments. That sounds like you said the sentence the wrong way round, but it was right. Oh, they like their slightly pointing up camera, don't they? Good old perspective. Off-center smile. Am I supposed to come up with a wibbly wobbly tomato smile? They've been doing fan art for Rain World. Cool. I don't know what that is. Well, now Pinches and Patches' theme has ended. And we got the Rockabo, if you will. Yeah, I should end the stream. So tomorrow we continue with the growingly inexplicable. Growingly? I was about to make a joke about how Grim Fandango isn't really making sense anymore, and now I'm not making sense anymore, so I can't really talk, can I? In more than one way. So, yeah, more Grim Fandango. Just try and work out what's actually happening in that game. I think I know what's happening. Yeah. Frame Man, stop it. We're trying to end. Yeah. So more of that tomorrow. This little light of mine. Oh no. Frame Man, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You had your fun with putting Gibble on the stream. There it is, Shine. Yeah. Thanks for coming along. Hope you have a wonderful time. Hope you have a great week. I'll see you around. What a great combination of emotes. Yeah. Have a great time. Look after yourselves. Bye.
Let it shine.
Good job, Hazel. Good job.